apparently Spider-Kel back once again for another DC Chess Collection review, number 24 in the line, Manbat. Manbat I find him a very tragic character, a very sad character, because, depending on which line you look at, I know Manbat mainly from the animated series. I haven't seen him a great deal in the comics or anything like that. All I know from the comics is what's put in this book, which is kind of the same, but told differently. In the comics, apparently, Manbat is suffering with a very degenerative disorder which will make him deaf at a very early age. And so in order to cure his deafness, he decides to experiment with the genes of bats, because they have a very high sense of hearing. He experiments on himself, and as always in the DC universe, this leads to, well, Manbat. He mutates into the Manbat character and becomes very feral and very bat-like, basically like a monster. And it's just such a sad story. He basically wanted to try and make sure that he didn't go deaf, and in that as well, it would be a cure for deafness for people all over the world. It's a very, very noble cause, and he experiments on himself, and it all goes wrong. It's such a shame. But then in the animated series, you have him where he's experimenting on the bats, and I can't quite remember why. I don't believe it was because he was going deaf himself. I think he just had a fondness for bats, if I remember. Kirk Langstrom in that one basically just had a like for bats and experimented on himself with the genes, I think. And the Batman, I remember that one, he basically wanted to be... This is exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to become a bat. He wanted to prove that he was a better bat than the Batman was. And I quite like that story. So, very different across all the three different mediums that I've seen him in. But across all of them, the comic version is very, very sad, tragic story, which is... It really, really does pull. There's a scene in this comic that I saw where his wife also takes the serum in order to still be with him, which even Batman is stood there going, wow, I can't believe that she did that. That's amazing, kind of thing. And it's a really beautiful story, it is. So really, that's all I have to say on the Manbat character. The figure itself, I saw this picture of what the figure was going to look like before we got it. I don't usually like doing that, to be honest. I like to wait till it comes and look at it and think, oh, I like that. No, look at it and think, wow, what the hell is this? But Manbat was one, I believe someone had mentioned this to me about what Manbat looked like, and curiosity got the better of me, and I looked, and I really hated it. I really did. I looked at it and went, well, that's rubbish. Then I got it and I looked at it and thought, yeah, that's still rubbish. I really didn't like it. But then as I looked into it a bit more and started to look at the different features on it, it is very, very good. It's just... Well, I'll bring the figure out and we'll talk about it a bit more. Okay, and here we have the piece itself. And as I said, I wasn't sure I liked this at first. When I first saw the images for this, I really didn't like it. It arrived... and I still really didn't like it. Just something about it, and I just didn't like. Then I looked at it again, and I looked at it in a bit more detail, and I actually thought, this is actually a really nicely made piece. There's some fantastic bits of detail in this. Some well-painted bits, some well-designed bits, and just, it is a really nice piece, but I still struggle to like this one. And my wife as well, even before I made this review, I picked it up off the board and she said to me, so you're reviewing the piece I don't like. And that's pretty much it. She really doesn't like this piece, and I'm kind of the same. And my main problem, and also her main problem, is the arms. I just don't like how they're across his chest, and I think this would be a better piece if his arms were out here and his wings were unfolded. I just think that maybe would have made it a bit better. You could never have had his arms straight out or up to the sides or anything like that, or anything too much out to the side, because it would have interfered with other pieces on the board. I get that. I totally agree with that. But even just a little bit out to the side with his wings kind of unfurling beside it, I don't know, maybe it just would have been a little bit better. If you take this and turn it upside down, that looks great. That looks really, really good, because he's hanging upside down, and that's how bats would sleep, with the wings folded up like that. That looks great, but he's not. He's stood, and it just doesn't look right for me, which is a huge shame, because other than that, I really like this piece. There's a lot of detail, a lot of really nice bits to this, and really nice paint jobs and really nice work that they put into this. So it really is quite a shame. I'm just trying to get a bit more light. There we go. I mean, we go into the face first of all, and it's just a beautifully sculpted face, quite menacing, quite a beast-like, and really scary kind of pose, and just wonderful detail. The yellowed-eyed eyes, the clear definition on all the teeth. This is really, really beautifully crafted in the mouth. You can see his tongue in there, and as I've said, each tooth is really well painted and defined on this one. You have his hair or his fur, I don't quite know what this would be on Manbat, but all coming off to the side, beautifully painted in this bronze colour, which is quite I mean, especially on the arms, which we'll get to, but it almost makes him look like a statue. Which it's a very, very bold paint colour, and I don't know, sometimes I question if they made a right choice with this, but it does make it stand out. That you can't say any more than that. You have some wonderful sculpt on his ears, and at the back here, the rest of his fur comes all the way down and all the way down his body, and I'll come to his back in a little bit, which may seem like a weird thing to say, but it's one bit that I do really like. Again, we have his arms across his chest. We have some very long fingers with some sharp claws at the end, more fur on his chest, some really nicely defined work on the arms and the biceps. Again, this bronze sort of colour, which I don't know, it doesn't make him look bat to me. As I've said, it makes him look like a statue, really. We do have some beautiful working on the wings. It does make them look really, really nice, and it does really make them look bat-like, and just very, very nice. We have some torn jeans which lead down to the rest of his feet, and again, like Harley Quinn, this is one thing I do also really like, is that Manbat is one of the black rooks, and again we have this kind of area of destruction where Manbat's almost landed on the rook and broke it as he's landed, which is just a really, really nice touch, and I do very much like that. As I said in the Huntress review, I love these let me just zoom out a bit. I love these rook pieces. I just think they're very beautifully designed, very, very nice piece, and that's just a really nice touch. I loved it in the Harley Quinn, and I really like it in this one. Now, I said I wanted to come to the back. I think that you look at the back, and it is just a wonderfully sculpted area. It's just filled with design and just so many different things. We have his fur coming down his back and where his wings kind of join, but as the wings fold round, we have these kind of spike bits coming from his wings, which almost wrap around his legs, which I don't know what it is. I really like this. And you have the blue jeans and the black of his belt, which goes round. Some really nice design and sculpting on the jeans themselves to make them look a bit more natural. Some wonderful tears in there. I don't know what it is about the back of this figure. I just think it's really well designed and really, really well done. And some really nice paint jobs on there as well. But yeah, overall, this is a piece that I guess you could say I really want to like this. I really want to look at this and say, yeah, it's a great figure. I like the Manbat character. I liked watching him in the animated series. From what I've read in the book, he sounds like a very interesting character, very tragic, very sad character, who just wanted to try and cure his deafness, and ended up like this, really. And he's a really good character, and overall the detail that goes into this piece, the little broken pieces on the rook, the design, the paintwork, things like that, it's really well sculpted, really well made. Just a couple of minor nitpicks from me that just makes it one of those ones where I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. And I just really wish I liked it more. And that's pretty much all I can say. I'm really on the fence with this one, everyone. I really, really am. And I do wish I liked it. And it's just a couple of things about it that make me think, could have been better. But still, very, very good. So anyway, that's my review for Manbat. I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. I shall be back soon for the next one. But until then, take care. I'll see you soon.